This episode is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, the #1 seller of games and gaming accessories. And GatheringMagic.com, the #1 resource for Magic the Gathering news and articles.
Hi, I'm Uriah from CMDR Decks, and today we're going to do a very special unboxing of the Magic Commander 2013 product. Today we have Mindseas. Here we have the Grixis deck for Commander Magic 2013. Mindseas. It is blue, black, and red. The main commander here is Javella Nefalia's Scourge. She's a 1/3 for 4 flying, and her ability is to go ahead and play a bunch of spells for free, either from your deck or your opponent's deck, every time she attacks. So we have that. Let's get into the deck here. Another commander for this box is Nekusar the Mindrazor. For Grixis, +2 colorless, a 2/4, and it punishes people whenever they draw cards and allows them to draw additional cards. Another oversized foil here is Thraxamundar. This was originally printed in Shards of Alara. 6/6 haste. Whenever it attacks, defending player sacks a creature. Whenever player sacks a creature, +1/+1 counter. He gets big and he hits quick. So Thrax, a great commander for Grixis. We have our deck here, plus looks like some Learn to Play and Commander information inserts. Getting into the deck, we have the smaller version of Javella Nefalia's Scourge. Augur of Bolas comes into play. Look at the top 2 cards of your library, reveal instant or sorcery. It's a great way to get some card advantage there. Fogbank's going to hold off some attackers. It's a reprint. Nightscape Familiar makes your stuff cost less, which is awesome, and it's a good blocker since it can sit on the ground and regenerate. Baleful Strix saw some play in Legacy, so this card worth probably about $14 to $15, which makes it a great value and pickup for this set, especially if you can pick it up at retail. It's a 1/1 flying Death Touch for 2 mana. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Nivix Guildmage from the newer Ravnica block. Draw a card, then discard, or copy target instant or sorcery you control. There's going to be a lot of copying in this deck of instants and sorcery, so that's going to be a great Guildmage for us. Guard Gomazoa is similar to the Fogbank, can prevent a lot of damage coming at us, and can hit the table early. Guttersnipe, there's going to be a lot of instants and sorceries flying around, so dealing that 2 damage here and there, that could add up quickly. Echo Mage, this is a reprint from Zendikar, and this is going to allow us to level up and start copying instants or sorceries, and eventually, once it does level 4, double copy instants and sorceries you control. Jace's Archivist, sort of a windfall effect. It's a 2/2 on 3. Pay 1, tap, each player discards his or her hand, then draws cards equal to the greatest number a player discarded this way. True-Name Nemesis is a new card for this set. It's a 3/1 Merfolk Rogue on 2 blue 1. When it enters the battlefield, choose a player. It has protection from the chosen player, which means it cannot be blocked, targeted, dealt damage, or enchanted by anything controlled by that player. This is another card that could see Legacy play. We'll have to see how that actually shakes out here in the next couple of weeks. And don't really overlook this for Commander either. When it comes into play, if you have some equipment in play, you throw it on them and attack the player to his protection from. There's pretty much nothing they can do to stop it. And since you're playing blue, you have like perhaps Capsize or Crystal Shard. You're going to bounce it back to your hand once your named opponent is dead. Comes into play, choose another opponent, and go to town again. We have Vampire Nighthawk, a great card, a lot of utility in just a small package there. Viceline's going to go ahead and punish people if they have smaller numbers of cards in their hands. It's a 2/2 or 2/2 on 4. We have Terra Ravager, which was also saw the Power Hungry deck, as well as Nature of the Beast, a 4/4 or an 0/4 on 4. That whenever it attacks, gets +X/+O until end of turn, where X is the number of lands defending player controls. So probably going to be attacking the person with the most lands. Diviner Spirit, a new card from Commander 2013, a 2/4 on 5. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you and that player may each draw that many cards. So most of the time, the defending player is probably going to let it through so they can draw a couple cards along with you. Mnemonic Wall, a reprint, return an instant or sorcery to your graveyard from hand. That's going to be great with all the instants and sorceries we'll be playing. We have Hooded Horror, can't be blocked if defending player controls the most creatures or is tied for the most. Not too bad of a body for 5 mana there. Here we have the smaller version of Nekusar the Mind Razor. Charmbreaker Devils is a really great card with a deck that's full of instants and sorceries, a 4/4 on 6, but it gets you back that random instant or sorcery during your upkeep, and whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, it gets bigger. Uyo Silent Prophet, originally from the Kamigawa block, another great legend. If you want to take her out and build a deck around her, you can certainly go ahead and do so. She also copies instants or sorceries for the small cost of paying 2 and then returning 2 lands you control to your hand. Thraxamundar, the smaller version of the card we talked about earlier. Baleful Force is a new card printed for the Commander 2013. Completes part of the Force cycle that was started in 2011 with the Commander set. So for 3 black and 5, it's a creature elemental. Beginning of each upkeep, you draw a card and lose life. So it's a Phyrexian Arena effect that you can't really choose not to do. So you got to be careful. Don't kill yourself with this. But with the card advantage it generates, you might not have to worry about that. We have Sol Ring, which sees play in each of the new 5 Commander boxes, which is great. Wayfarer's Bauble, which is really good in this deck because there's no green, so you want to make sure you can get the basics that you need into play from your hand, so Wayfarer's Bauble, that's going to be great. Armillary Sphere also getting those basics that we want. Swiftfoot Boots, which replaced Lightning Greaves as the sort of shroudy or hexproof and haste equipment of choice for Magic 2013. We have some artifact mana with Obelisk of Grixis. And Temple Bell, sort of a Howling Mine effect, but you choose when each player draws a card instead of just on the upkeep. That's a great card there. Eye of Doom. When it enters the battlefield, it's a new card. Each player chooses a non-land permanent and puts a Doom counter on it. And then you pay 2 and sacrifice Eye of Doom. Destroy each permanent with a Doom counter on it. If you can get some artifact recursion, this is a really awesome card. And I like the art on it a lot as well. Mirari, if we're going to be copying, we might as well do a lot of copying. Mirari allows us to go ahead and do that. Curse of Inertia, they reprinted, well not reprinted, but printed curses for the first time since Innistrad, so we see these back. This is a curse that enchants a player, and then whenever a player attacks enchanted player with 1 or more creatures, the attacking player may tap or untap target creature of his or her choice, and this is before blockers, so that might switch the combat into your favor quite easily. It's going to make people more difficult to attack you if you have a propaganda in play because they have to pay 2 each time. This is a reprint, but this is new art for the first time. We have Curse of Shallow Graves, a new curse card for 1 black and 2. Enchant a player. Whenever a player attacks enchanted player with 1 or more creatures, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield tapped. Again, zombies that come into play tapped, very Innistrad. We have Curse of Chaos, 1 red and 2. Enchant a player. Whenever a player attacks enchanted player with 1 or more creatures, discard a card, then they may draw a card, which is red's version of filtering. Spiteful Visions, very good with Nekusar the Mind Razor. Some hybrid mana, black, red, 2. At the beginning of each player's draw step, the player draws an additional card, and whenever that player draws a card, it deals 1 damage to that player. So pretty much almost exactly like Sekuar. Or not Sekuar, but Nekusar, sorry. Arcane Melee, make your instants and sorceries cost less, which is great because there's some pretty high casting cost stuff in this deck. We have a new card in Price of Knowledge for 1 black and 6. It's an enchantment. Players have no maximum hand size like Reliquary Tower for everyone, but at the beginning of each player's upkeep, it deals damage to that player equal to the number of cards in that player's hand. So this can start doing a lot of damage very quickly. Vision Schemes, instant. Everyone draws 2 cards. Soul Manipulation, it's a great common. Counter a spell or return a creature card or do both. Croesus Charm with new art. This is Grixis colors there, some flexibility. Return target permanent to its owner's hand or destroy target non-black creature and it can't be regenerated, or destroy target artifact, which black and blue don't really get that often. Grixis Charm, another charm. Return target permanent to its creature's hand, to its owner's hand, or target creature gets -4/-4 to the end of turn, or creatures you control get +2/+0. So some great flexibility there as well. Sudden Spoiling, a split second card. Creatures target player control loses all abilities and become O2s. You can do this on your opponent's creatures or your creatures. It's just a great card. Dismiss, seen reprint for the first time since Tempest. counter, and draw. Illusionist's Gambit, a new card that was printed for Magic 2013. Cast it only during the declare blocker step on an opponent's turn. Obviously, it's an instant. Then remove all attacking creatures from combat and untap them. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. Each of those creatures attacks that combat if able, but they can't attack you or a planeswalker you control. So that means if everyone swings at you, there's a big mass attack. You can cast this and make it force at someone else, maybe someone they don't want to take out. Maybe we'll give them some bad attacking. Now, do note that if they didn't attack with the creature during the first combat when this was played, they could attack you with that creature during the second one, so watch out for that. Wild Ricochet, we're copying instants and sorceries again. Annihilate, destroy a non-black creature, draw a card. Opportunity, this is newer art from, I believe, M14. 6 mana, target player draws 4 cards. We have new art on Starstorm, which is going to deal X damage to each creature, or if you don't need that, just cycle it. Strategic Planning. This is was a pretty expensive card, between about $40 to $100 at one point. I only see it primarily playing Commander in maybe combo decks. For 1 blue and 1 sorcery, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 in the hand and the rest in your graveyard. So if you're really digging for something that's very important, this is going to be a great card for you. But otherwise, may not see too much play, and this is a Portal 3 Kingdoms reprint. Infest, all creatures -2/2 till the end of turn. Tempt with Reflections is the Tempting Offer card in blue. For 1 blue 3, it's a sorcery. Choose target creature you control and clone it. Then each person can go ahead and do that, each of your opponents. And if they do that, you can choose another creature you control and clone it. Fissure Event, destroy target artifact or non-basic land or both for 5 mana. Incendiary Command, some more flexibility here for 5 mana. Deal 4 damage to target player or 2 damage to each creature. Destroy a non-basic land, or each person discards their hand and draws that many cards. We have Fithis, which destroys a creature. Its controller loses life equal to its toughness. If you suspend it, people are going to see it coming, which may not be a bad thing. Might keep some higher toughness and higher power creatures off the board, but this is a really great card for Commander. It can do a lot of damage. There's a lot of big power toughness creatures out there. Cruel Ultimatum, maybe the best color Grixis spell ever. Sorcery, target opponent sacks a creature, discards 3 cards, loses 5 life, and then you draw a card, or draw 3 cards, return a creature, and gain 5 life. And getting that for free off of Javella, probably very good. Decree of Pain, this is art that was printed in Commander's Arsenal. The only second time that Decree of Pain was printed up until this point. So this is a great black spell. If you're looking for a black kill spell, Decree of Pain is the way to go, and this box is going to give it to us for a pretty great price. Army of the Damned, getting this for free is really cool. 13 2/2 zombies you can then flash back later. Prosperity with new art. I believe this is art from the Cube for Magic Online. 1 blue and X, sorcery, let's all draw cards. Skyscribing with new art was originally printed in the original Rav block. Each player draws X cards, sort of like Prosperity. Molten Disaster, if it's kicked, split second, and then it deals X damage to each creature without flying in each player. I'll get into the mana base here. We have some fixing. Bojuka Bog, get rid of problem graveyards from an opponent. Command Tower, of course, the reprint. So good. One of the best mana fixing lands, maybe the best mana fixing land ever for Commander. We have Crumbling Necropolis, going to give us all of our colors just come into play tapped. Some black-blue filter, Evolving Wilds, get a basic we need. Panorama for the same thing. Some blue-red filtering, more black-red mana, especially good for the X spells we have in this deck. Molten Slagheap. We have Opal Palace, which is the new land printed in all 5 of the boxes. Tap for a colorless, or pay a colorless, tap it. Add 1 mana of any mana color to your commanders that your commander identity could create. And if you spend the mana to cast your commander, it enters the battlefield with X counters, or +1/+1 counters equal to the number of times that you've cast it from the command zone. Some black-red filtering, all-color filtering. Temple of the False God, add 2 mana if you have 5 or more lands. It's a great mana wrap card. Urza's Factory, pay 7, tap, put a 2/2 assembly worker into battlefield. Not too bad late game. Looks like a couple of Vivids. And into the basic lands, islands, swamps, and mountains. Thanks for watching this unboxing of the Magic Commander 2013 product. Please subscribe and favorite.